immortal words of Ray Parker Jr., I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Do 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 do.
Best version of Ghostbusters is on the Commodore 64 game, because you could press this space bar and it went Ghostbusters. So you got like a really nice 8-bit rendition, and then you slam the space bar and it goes Ghostbusters.
That's the thing, because back in the day, I even mentioned it in my June Let's Play, was that you had to actually synthesize the sounds on the fly, so that you got digitized speech in the Commodore 64 game was a big deal.
I did it in quite a lot of games, actually. It sounded rough as fuck, but...
Oh yeah, I mean, it's something to do with the limitations of 8-bit. You can only do certain things with it, but
to be fair, it was quite good that they actually managed to get any speech in, considering like the file size was probably in kilobytes, weren't it?
Oh, No Fun Zone says, "Fuck me, your intro is 10,000% louder than anything else." It is very loud.
I always put the intro super loud to wake people up.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I still haven't turned my mic. I think my mic needs turning up a touch.
I really got to play with that synthesizer more. That, you see, that's Zero's introduction with the spooky numbers and the do bits, and then my bit is just like what I call the spooky organ with the seagulls in it, and that's based on Herc's Abacus software synth. I should play some more with that. I've been playing more with the microphone.
You have to find some spoopy drops to put in there.
Oh yeah.
Try and find that bit. I've got the bit somewhere of, because I want to do Fred West at some point. There's a bit where Fred West's talking about the how the ghosts lead him to where they're buried. Have you ever heard him talk about that in the interview?
Because I know nothing about true crime. I'm a true crime virgin.
Oh, we'll get some true crime episodes done then, shall we, Hobbit?
Because when you're doing that Myra Hindley thing, it was like a real eye opener for me. And at the end of the show, I was like convinced, yeah, she done it, and her husband was the willing accomplice.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely didn't seem at all like he was the driving force, did it?
No, he was not.
So, shall we talk? Shall we do some of our war? Actually, do you got something you want to say?
Well, yeah, we're going to do a warm intro. We got some spooky stuff from Unexplained Pisteries, and
boys sought spider bite to gain superpowers. 3 boys in Bolivia. Boys? Do we mean retards? Yeah. Three boys in Bolivia recently got more than they bargained for when they tried to become Spider-Man. In an incident that serves an alarming reminder of how easily fictional stories can rub off on the impressionable, 3 young boys aged 8, 10 and 12 recently attempted to gain the web-slinging powers of Spider-Man by deliberately allowing a Black Widow spider to bite them.
Oh yeah, so you don't just go for like a nice spider which won't kill you. Let a Black Widow bite you.
Perhaps they read Black Widow comics. Perhaps they thought they'd grow tits and red hair.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. I saw that recent. I mean, there's just as well. There's no comic book about the Hornet or something, because
it's the Green Hornet, isn't there? That awful film with fucking Seth Rogen. Do you remember that?
Well, when you say no more, you had me at Seth Rogen. I understand, like, automatically it means it's going to be bad.
No, this was really bad. Imagine like a wisecracking Batman, but with jokes that fall flat on the floor every single time.
And Seth Rogen's face grinning forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks. I think I'll pass.
Yeah, it's
the reason I mentioned it is
as bad as you could imagine.
Because I was trying to remember this bit, that what's the difference between toxin and venom? No, venom, toxin, and poison.
Can you actually not drink venom, but you can actually ingest venom and it won't kill you, will it? Is that what?
Yeah, venoms won't kill you. So, like, for example, I think stinging nettles are venomous, and hopefully the chat will say, actually, no, Hobbit. Stinging nettles are poisonous. and but what you're thinking of is this. And the reason I say that is because, like,
I don't think they're either, are they? Because they use by those hairs, don't they?
Yeah, the stinging needle hairs on them, those sting, and then it injects these histamines into you with formic acid, and it's the histamines which cause the rash. But the point I meant about that is, for example, hornets have got a poison, and the poison is necrotizing. So there was like photographs on Wikipedia of these Africans that had been stung by them, and they just got like these abscesses on their arm where the venom's eaten away at the flesh. Nasty stuff.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Just having a look in the the Britannica. I like the Britannica because it's properly based. It's still based, and it was that story you did before where it was kind of like a little bit racist too, weren't it?
Encyclopedia Britannica is far more objective than Wikipedia. It's just, unfortunately, Wikipedia seems to be the first thing that comes up.
It doesn't
Actually,
say whether they're
I'll tell you what Wikipedia is good for, and I don't think Encyclopedia.
So they inject a mist of acetylcholine.
Yeah, that's the one.
Histamine and serotonin, causing an itchy, burning rash.
So interesting. They inject serotonin.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe that's why. Because have you ever eaten like a nettle soup or nettle tea?
Oh, the root stock is used as a diuretic and as a herbal treatment for benign prostatic hyperplasia, prostate enlargement. Tea made from the leaves has been used to treat hay fever, diabetes, gout, and arthritis.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you take histamines, maybe they act as an antihistamine.
Yeah.
But I've drunk nettle tea before, and it has this really nice, refreshing tingling, which sort of goes in your mouth and then spreads throughout your face.
So how do you prepare it then? Do you have to dry it, do you? Or do you just bung it in as it is?
Well, there's a bloke who does like poverty cooking. He's English, and he's talking about like unfortunately it's a bit too late in the it might not be too late, but you find that you take the tops of the nettle, which are young, and there are ways of grabbing them, but using gloves is probably the easiest way. And then you cook them like you'd cook spinach, and the cooking renders them safe.
The heat. I think it's the heat thing. We've discussed this before, haven't we? I'm sure we have.
Not sure if we've done it about stinging nettles. I've got an article here about.
No, because we did the bit. It might have even been grub and soil when we talked about the nettle eating competition. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, that's probably where I saw the video about it, because I was like, I want to make my own nettle soup. Yeah. I've got this article here. I'm not sure if it counts as Fortean though, but uncovered mosaic in Italy.
Ooh, it's kind of history and stuff, isn't it? We can slip in a bit of history, can't we?
Why not? I mean, these things. It's spooky that it survived 1,600 years buried under the soil. So I'm going to tempt. You know what? This is something which the radio audience will miss out on. You'll have to look at it yourself. I'm going to post the link. Oh, I can't post a link in the chat because the YouTube does that thing. So suffice to say, chat.
Are you not
search engine of your choice? Type in.
You should be
perfectly preserved.
Say hello in there, and then I'll spanner you.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Perfectly preserved Roman mosaic floor dating back to the 3rd century is unearthed in an Italian vineyard. The tiles formed to the floor of an ancient Roman villa from the 3rd century Anno Domini.
Well, you can pass it to a friend Freeman on the Sand, and then he can put it in.
Yeah, the good old Freeman, he'll do that stuff, won't he? There we go. And it says, stunningly well-preserved Roman mosaic floor dating back to the 3rd century Anno Domini, year of our Lord, has been discovered hidden in the soil of a vineyard in Italy. The floor, found in a hilly area above
the... Wonder how they found it. Wonder how they found it.
Well, I'm hoping it will say in the article. It says the floor found in a hilly area above the town of Negra di Vallopolicella, which is near Verona, was uncovered just a week after archaeologists returned to work from lockdown. Oh, so they were already doing a dig in that area. The area was already known to researchers as the remains of a Roman villa have been found there a century earlier, but that dig was abandoned in 1922. Oh, that's interesting. So they've waited almost 100 years before going, hey, you know that Roman villa was discovered in the 1920s? Yeah. Shall we dig it up? All right then. Yeah. So I'll get round to it, 100 years later. Yeah, let's have a crack at it then. Historians described it as the discovery of the year, and town officials confirmed they were working with the owner of the land to make the historic site accessible. It's all radio audience. I really recommend you have a look at this mosaic because it's beautiful and it survived 1600 years of being buried under soil. It just goes to show how there's something remarkable about ceramics that those colors can be preserved.
Yeah, they look great, don't they? Well, they haven't been exposed to UV though, have they?
Well, yeah, you say that, but they'd been exposed to a few centuries of it when they were first laid down. I think there's something about making ceramics. It's a dark art, and there's something about baking the pigments in, which preserves them. It makes them really, really strong. So it's not going to be fragile like paints on canvas. And it's got a map of it. If you scroll down a bit, you can see Verona is in between Milan and Venice, and it's just slightly north of that. Last year, a team from the Superintendent of Archaeology, Fine Arts and Landscape of Verona started digging again to uncover more of the ancient home. Work began in October 2019, but was suspended in February 2020 due to the outbreak of the demonetized pandemic, putting Italy in the strict lockdown. I quite like this channel called Gamers Nexus, and they've started referring to it as human malware, which I think is an apt term. The week after work resumed, they found the stunning mosaic floor hidden underneath a row of vines and are now gently excavating the rest of the area. The first round of images appear online show the pristine floor and foundations. On their Facebook page, Nigardi Vabulasella officials said the goal of the dig is to identify the exact extension and exact location of ancient construction. Roberto Grisson, the mayor of Nigardi Vapiasella, local newspaper La Arena, it was a cultural site of special value and deserves attention. For this reason, together with Superintendent, nurse in charge of agriculture funds, we will find a way to make this treasure enjoyable, he said, whilst juggling pasta. Historian Maiko Ciliand said the find was one of the most important of the year. Newly discovered just outside of Verona, what could be this year's biggest discovery, almost entirely intact Roman mosaic villa floor, he said on Twitter. He said there are many examples of similar stunning pieces of history buried underfoot. In fact, he said there are parts of other former Mesopotamia where there are hills and areas that should be entirely flat.
There are a few of those places, isn't there? There's like impossible places, isn't there? You've got like Oak Island's one of them. You know about the Curse of Oak Island, Hobbit?
Is that the one where there's like a hidden treasure but it's like a really elaborate cave system,
Yeah,
and it's
that's it.
And there's like
if you do it wrong, it lets a load of seawater in.
Oh yeah, it's got like hidden layers, and there's like unbreathable gas in there and other stuff.
Yeah, there's a whole TV series about it. I've only watched the odd episode. I haven't watched too much of it, but yeah. I think according to the legend, one more person has got to die before it gives up its treasure. Is the legend?
I mean, the idea that some pirate 500 years ago buried that with like wooden tools or whatever.
Templar gear in there as well.
Yeah, there's some dark arts going there. But I'm looking at
there's a new series about the curse of Skinwalker Ranch. Do you know about the Skinwalker Ranch?
That just makes me think of Madonna for some reason.
Skinwalker. It's in America. It's a really spooky place, and
Marina Abramovic wearing the skins of things as art, as spirit cooking.
Yeah,
I
But
have seen a Roman mosaic in real life. I was 14 years old in Cyprus, and my dad was talking with the locals, and they said, "Yeah, that's Roman." He said, "Do you know what century?" He says, "Oh, whenever the Romans were here." So when were the Romans in Cyprus? Come on, chat. Some of you got to be Roman historians. When were the Romans in Cyprus? I know they're there at the time of Jesus because they were in Judea.
Judean
So yeah,
People's Front
no, the People's Front of Judea.
splitters.
Oh, you're
That's
dividing the movement.
that's still a good thing now, isn't it? Because if you watch that bit about like, it's almost a bit like it's kind of anti-social justice before social justice came about, weren't it? You know that
I
when you're
want to
going
be a.
his or her. I want to be a woman, Stan. Where's the
You
fetus going
can't
to
be a
gestate in a
woman.
box?
Yeah, I should watch that again. The what's the other one I quite like? The
The
Question of the
Grail's the
Holy
next one.
Grail. Yeah, I like that film because it's just like, we haven't got enough budget to finish this. I know, we'll have the police come
Let's
in
do
and
a
stop
bit.
it all.
Let's do a bit.
Yeah, and that's the nice. That's how like when you're you're constrained for resources, I think it encourages creativity.
I think in
Um,
film making, I think necessity was the mother of invention, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah, but
Because that's where
sometimes
RoboCop got his signatures like slow walk from because of the constraints of the outfit, wasn't it?
I know. I mean, how would they get? Because if he's supposed to, I think in the later film they do show him like running really fast, but
Yeah.
how are you going to get a guy wearing like a big bulky outfit to be running at 40 miles an hour?
Well,
This is
apparently in the script he was said to run like Spider Man was what they said in the script.
for some reason I was thinking run at 40 miles an hour.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how fast Spider Man can run.
I'm just thinking like Space Marines can run at 40 miles an hour, and the hey, this is another one as well. I mean, in June, if you effectively if you take the sort of when they're winning battle against the Harkonnen, what you need to do is stop watching the film, watch Lawrence of Arabia because it is about guerrilla warfare. But Frank Herbert and the David Lynch agreed that we need some sort of plot device, i.e., the weirding module, because we can't have people in the Mexican desert with 40-degree heat doing kung fu moves in rubber suits. So yeah, they came up with a plot device, and you know what? I think it's not a clumsy plot device. I think it works quite well, and it sort of gives this new concept, which wasn't actually in the books. It was like the idea that sound can be used as a weapon.
Have you ever seen the making of the bit where RoboCop raids the drug warehouse in RoboCop?
Is that in? Oh, I thought that was RoboCop 2.
That's RoboCop. No, the other drugs warehouse from the first one. Apparently,
I'm.
poor old Peter Weller was dying in the suit because it was like I think they filmed it like Vegas or something like that, but it was like mega hot, so they had to like install fans in the suit and stuff.
Actually, that sounds like quite a good idea. Installing fans in it just adds to sort of the whir of. I'm sure the sounds were put in post effect, but just sort of like the little whiny servo motors and the wind chunk sounds. Yeah, that was good stuff. But
No Fun Zone says from like 100 BC to 1200 sometime. That really narrowed it down there.
Oh yeah, so a period of 1300 years.
Yeah,
Well,
Flary Canary's got it right. Season 32 of Oak Island, they still ain't found shit. There's been no end to fucking series of that program.
Maybe the treasure was all the ad revenue they made along the way. I assume this is on like a mainstream television show where
yeah,
they
it's
can
on
get
like the
advert.
History Channel or so. I think it's on the History Channel. I think.
Mm-hmm.
So right, should we get back to the spoopy stories?
Yeah, spoopy stories. I haven't even looked at unexplained mysteries.
Well, you might want to do this next one because it's scientists solve missing matter mystery.
That's easy for you to say.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I mean, I've only had one that was as bad as Geralt.
Oh dear. DARPA requests large underground facilities. Oh, that was last week.
Yeah,
I know.
You need to refresh, mate.
Yeah, I'll go to news and boys sort spider bite spider solve missing matter mystery. There we go.
Yeah.
Missing matter mystery. Peter Piper picked pickle pepper.
He thrusts his fist against the post and still insists he sees the ghosts.
Oh, she sells seashells on the seashore.
Red lorry, yellow lorry, lorry, yellow lorry.
So, new light has been shone on the whereabouts of the tongue twisters of the galaxy. Oh, sorry. The universe is missing baryonic matter. What is baryonic matter? I don't know. Nobody knows.
Is it North? Does it look like North FC?
I don't know what baryonic matter is. Most of the universe is thought to be made up of dark matter, also known as jogger matter, a mysterious unseen form of matter that cannot be directly observed because it does not absorb, emit, or reflect any electromagnetic radiation. The rest, meanwhile, is composed of baryonic matter, the normal type of matter which makes up stars, planets, asteroids, nebulae, and Nissan micros, and anything else that we can see or hold in our hands. Well, I can't hold a Nissan micro in my hands.
Yeah.
Not all the baryonic matter in the universe is accounted for, however. A large percentage of it has remained frustratingly elusive, leading scientists on the
fridge. It's always down there.
Well, if I can't find stuff, it's usually under my bed or it's tucked in the sofa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just not
so
it's enough, are they? I think we've solved it. We can go safe now.
Well, anyway, these scientists have been on the hunt that has lasted for decades, and they finally found it was underneath the fridge. Do you
think they're just milking that sweet grant money? Do you think that's what it is?
It probably
yeah.
is.
We're nearly there, boss. We'll find it next week. Honest, we're nearly there. Nearly there. Just a bit more grant money.
Oh, blind them with science, and that'll make it look like we've done something important.
Yeah.
And really, all they've done is they've put a spatula underneath the fridge and they fished it out. Now, though, the whereabouts of this missing matter has finally been determined thanks to another recently discovered phenomenon. Fast radio bursts, powerful bursts of radio waves originating from deep space that, despite lasting mere milliseconds, generate as much energy as the sun does in an entire day.
Hold on a minute. Is this a twofer? Are they trying to wrap up two mysteries for one price?
Yeah, wasn't there like a recent story about magnetars?
About the burst, and they didn't know where it was from.
The bursts, they didn't know where it was from. The bursts of radio waves.
Yeah, they couldn't locate the source of the bursts, could they?
Yeah. Well, I'll read a bit more, and we'll get there, won't we? By analysing how these bursts are dispersed and slowed while travelling across the cosmos.
Hold on a minute, you'll like this one. Keeping It Real said, baryonic, is that the Silicon Bang guy?
Oh dear.
And Ron Anderson says the intellectual dark matter.
There we go. So, by analysing how these bursts are dispersed and slowed while travelling across the cosmos, scientists have determined that missing matter is situated in the cold void of space between galaxies. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think there was anything in between.
Is that the space equivalent of down the back of the fridge?
Yeah.
Or slipped under the fridge? The cold void of space. I mean, is it the cold void of space between the fridge and the wall? Is that what they really mean?
But behind the radiator where all the cobwebs are, and you don't dare stick your hand. I always thought like the gaps between galaxies, that's got to be like the closest naturally occurring vacuum ever. There can't be anything out there, surely, but we don't know because we can't really observe it, or we haven't got probes there. So let's see. It's been fine. Oh, here we go. For radio. Yeah, so analysing how these bursts are dispersed, yeah, I've done that. Intergalactic space is very sparse, said Associate Professor Jean-Pierre Macquart.
It's called space for a reason, isn't it?
Yeah. From the Curtin University node of the International Centre for Radio Astronomy Research. So there's a Curtin node for all that. The missing matter was equivalent to only 1 or 2 atoms in a room the size of an average office. Like a mysterious universe, it means there's much more to be understood. The thing is we've discovered is the atmosphere of the universe It's the ecosystem in which galaxies live. He said whilst eating a croque monsieur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a ham and cheese.
So yeah.
Toasted sarnie.
There you go. It turns out there is actually a bit of stuff in the void of space. Sorry, I'm being blown away by this thing saying giant allegedly captured on camera in Mexico.
Oh yeah, it's probably a fake, but we'll have a look at that. Did you want to? This is awfully prescient, isn't it? The chip lip smacking hints at origin of speech. There's been a lot of chimps lip smacking in Minnesota, hasn't there, today?
I was just going to say it hints at the origin of a chimp out. So, do you want to read this one or shall I?
Oh, go on, you do it. I've got to blow my nose.
A new study has revealed the chimp lip smacking could be a clue to the ancient origins of human speech. Exactly when and how the ability to speak first arose in humans has long remained something of a mystery. But now it seems that the behavior of chimpanzees, our closest living relatives, citation needed, may offer important clues at hinting how our ancestors first began to form words. It is well established that chimps smack their lips and move their jaws in the fast-paced cycles to speak with one another. But now a new study...
Hold on. We've got another joke from the Barry Silly Bang. This is the next one on. Big Bang and the Dirt is gone, lol. That's bad. That is bad.
Yeah. I like that. I do. He says, it is well established that chimps smack their lips and say, hey, yo, gives me that.
Hey, yo, where's the nearest target?
Yeah. And it's like, he says, but yeah, so universities of York, St. Andrews and Warwick have revealed that they do so at a rate which is very similar to that of human speech. Such behavior has likely ancient roots within primate communication, the scientists argue, and could have played an important role in the evolution of our own vocal system. Our results prove that spoken language was pulled together within our ancestral lineage using ingredients that were already available and in use by those other primates and hominids, said study author Dr. Adriano Lemira from University of Warwick. That's a good Anglo-Saxon name if ever I saw it. Doesn't he know that they're uncovering mosaics in Italy at the moment?
Yeah.
This dispels much of the scientific enigma that language evolution has represented so far. We found pronounced differences in rhythm between chimpanzee populations, suggesting that they are not automatic and stereotypical signals so often attributed to our ape cousins. Instead, just like in humans, we should start seriously considering that individual differences, social conventions, and environmental factors may play a role in how chimpanzees engage in conversation with one another. I've read this article somewhere else, and they said they've also noticed that chimps in the wild and chimps in captivity, the ones in captivity do lip smacking quicker, and they reckon it's because of exposure to the rapid patter of human speech. They emulate it in their own way.
They're throwing down raps, are they?
Yeah, they're aspiring SoundCloud rappers. Hey, there's a related article to this from 2 years ago. Did the US lab create a human Z 100 years ago? The answer is yes. And also Angola created one quite recently. Did you see that one?
That's not true. That's a fucking meme.
Well, it wasn't created in a lab. It's just he does look a bit like a chimp.
Photoshopped, isn't it?
It's real. I have seen chimps with nostrils like that before. It is real. But shall I read this chimp human Z thing, or do you want to do a story?
I'll do a story. What do you want to do next? Do you want to do the one about the giant, or are we doing that together?
Not sure really. I mean, we do need to do an episode about giants, so maybe that'll give it a good a teaser for the future. Maybe.
Residents of Mexico's. Are you going to check your dinner then?
Yeah. I'm going to stir the pot. So be right back.
Okay. Residents of Mexico's San Luis Potosi region reportedly claim to have witnessed a very large humanoid creature. From Jack and the Beanstalk to Jason and the Argonauts, tales of giants have been an integral part of Fairy tales, folklore, and mythology for thousands of years in countries all across the world. But could there really exist, or have existed, enormous humanoids of such extreme scale? Some residents of the Huasteca region of San Luis Potosi, Mexico, seem to think so. The evidence of a series of claims, reports, even photographs pertaining to be the sighting of a very large creature that was allegedly spotted last week near the municipality of Ciudad Valles. I was with my husband playing with my child, and we heard a noise like an explosion. So we looked at the hill where we thought the noise was coming from. We thought it was a landslide, said one witness, Mrs. Antonia, who described seeing a large thin man. It was about 5:30 in the afternoon. I was really scared. My husband started making fun of me, but then he saw the thing. He got very scared and told me to go into the house. Similar reports have also emerged from nearby towns as well. The photograph of the alleged giant can be viewed above. However, it's quite difficult to make out whether it's something genuinely large or something that is small and out of focus. Could this be evidence that giants roam the wilds of Mexico, or is the whole thing a hoax? You decide. In the era of 4K cameras, that's the best pick they could manage. Yeah, it was pretty crappy, wasn't it? Is that V? It's supposed to be Hispanic. Sorry, Ron. Who's LVGH? Probably just the average height in Mexico is 5'7", probably just a tall tourist. Mystery big cats reported across Scotland. This is, I think we'll probably do alien big cats at some point. Recent accounts have indicated the Loch Ness Monster is not the only thing lurking in the Scottish wilds. Stories of panthers and other large cats roaming the British countryside have endured for years and are the basis of several legends, including the Beast of Dartmoor and the Beast of Bodmin Moor. In Scotland, which is home to large amounts of empty wilderness and woodland, exotic big cats have not only been seen but also captured. One notable example was a puma named Felicity that authorities managed to capture near Loch Ness back in 1980. In 1993, another puma was also captured near the town of Aviemore in the Cairngorms. Now, a number of social media users have revealed their own encounters with large cats in Scotland, and it seems the phenomenon is still prevalent now as it has been in the past. Excuse me, blimey, one pint and I'm done. One witness described seeing a huge black thing which slinked across one of the back farm roads in rural Fife, while another said they had seen a massive black cat near Dunfermline. My dad and brother have both seen a big cat in Fife, a third contributor stated. My brother is a biologist who has done field work in Africa, where leopards and lions would periodically walk through his camp. Would walk periodically through his camp. That's a typo. So I think he'd know a big cat when he saw it. Many researchers believe the presence of large cats in Britain may be primarily attributed to the exotic pet owners deliberately releasing them into the wild, something that became a lot more common following the introduction of the Dangerous Wild Animals Act in 1976. It's possible many of the cats sighted these days are descendants of those animals. There's a super rare white grizzly spotted in Canada. So it's at a glance you might be forgiven that thinking this young bear is little more than a polar bear. However, as it turns out, the unusual animal is actually a genuine grizzly bear, not with albinism as might be expected, but with a recessive gene that's given its coat a distinctive shade of white. It was recently spotted by a family who'd been out for a drive along a remote stretch of highway. Is that story?
Good timing, Hemi. It turns out my dinner is cooked and ready, so...
Nice.
Yeah.
You're gonna be lip smacking all the way through this story, then, are you? I'm
Or
trying to open
be
this.
aping human speech.
The blind see letters delivered into their brains. Have you seen this one, Albert? He's lip snacking. Enabling the visually impaired to see again has long remained one of the holy grails of medical science. But while restoring vision through the eyes may be possible for some, it seems that directly communicating images to them through their brain might actually be a viable alternative. In a new study, a team of researchers led by Michael Beauchamp of Baylor College of Medicine in Houston successfully managed to communicate the shape of various letters to blind participants by delivering a specific series of electrical signals through the electrodes implanted in their brains. So far, the system has only been used to communicate certain letters of the alphabet. However, it should be possible to also portray basic shapes and outlines as well.
Did you cover one about how birds can see shapes in the head, or
no? Do you know what's this one then?
Because it seems related to the one you're talking about now.
It's quite possible because a lot of this stuff they get their inspiration from the animal kingdom, don't they?
No, I just misread the headline. It says blind see letters delivered to their brains. I thought it was like birds see letters delivered to their brains. Yeah.
But it's quite possible because a lot of this stuff don't they kind of borrow from the animal kingdom, some science stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's. I mean, they use the animal comparisons for like how it might work on us, but the thing is, which fascinates people with speech and stuff like that, is how ravens and parakeets and what's the other bird which mimics sounds? The mime bird.
The miner.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. They do all these things, and
we used to keep miners, miner birds, didn't they?
Yeah, but they don't now. I don't know why. They're really long-lived as well. I mean, birds are quite ephemeral creatures, but parakeets like living up to 30 years. That's
pretty good, isn't it?
That's a long time.
Pets go, that's good bang for your buck, isn't it?
I mean, it's one you can chat with and you can say, "Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. Bugger."
So one day it might even be possible to provide fully restored vision to somebody who is totally blind as well, to send images and other information directly into the brain of anyone who can receive. I don't like the sound of that, Hobbit.
Well, this has been, it's called the schizophrenia ray gun, where you can beam ultrasound into people's skulls to make them hear voices. So I suppose this is just an improvement on that technology from, what is it, the 60s? It's been around for a while, that
your friends at the
ultrasound.
CIA.
Yeah, that's it. So I suppose with this now, as well as the sounds, they can also beam sights into your thing, and yeah, this could be easily weaponized.
We have such sights to show you.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. That's so brave new world we live in, guys. Those things you see and hear may not be from inside you.
Oh, but I thought I'd read a story where they were further along than this. They already had the video camera for blind people.
Oh, what, like they've got like retinal implants or something. I think this is like bypassing that altogether, and
I thought it was something like they've managed to get people to see 8-bit images, like quite blocky images.
Well, maybe they figured a way to graft cameras onto the optic nerve, but this way they're talking about beaming it, and I assume they mean beaming it directly into the visual cortex. But is a bit of supposition for you, right? Say in the olden days when people see and hear demonic things, and it's like, oh yeah, he's possessed by demons. Imagine you've got a CIA glow in the dark, and he's beaming all this stuff into your brain, and it's demonic and stuff like that. Someone could say, oh, well, actually, the source of those disturbing images is purely technological, and there's nothing demonic about it. Well, I'd say, yeah, it is demonic. Yeah. You're using tools to do demonic possession, but it's still demonic.
Have you seen this one? The next page over. Alligator that survived World War II dies aged 84. An aged
This
alligator.
Hitler's favourite alligator.
Oh, you already know this story then, do you?
Yeah, people keep saying it's like it's this Russian alligator, and it's like Hitler's absolute favourite, and I don't know why. I'm just like, all right, okay.
I bet there's a
That's
story about him
interesting.
feeding Jews to it. I'll bet there is.
Is there?
I'll bet there is. There has to be, don't there? If Hitler owned an alligator, there's bound to be a story, isn't there?
The Germans are really cruel and inventive in all the ways they would execute Jews. I mean, did you the one where like a Jew got frozen and then was like thrown out of
Dropped
this
out of a fridge. Yeah.
Yeah, in front of the family and shattered into 1,000 pieces. I mean, I thought it was really insensitive that they basically just copied the testimony of these Holocaust survivors and put it into Terminator 2.
Have you seen the Winchester Mystery House lies eerily empty? Do you know about the Winchester Mystery House?
Has it got anything to do with Winchester firearms?
It's especially got to do with Winchester firearms. Basically, the story of the house is the woman who owned the house was the wife of the guy that invented Winchester firearms, and she was told by somebody that she had to keep building the house because as soon as she stopped building the house, she'd die. So basically, the Winchester house has got dead ends, blind alleys. You'll open a door out onto a 40-foot drop, and apparently it's all to confuse the ghosts that were haunting her and that were all victims of Winchester firearms.
Oh, I see. Right, because I was thinking it's like that was like an excuse of in order to keep local stonemasons and carpenters in business, the house has to constantly be renovated and redesigned. There's a cathedral in Germany, and I remember I was talking with the stonemasons there. And I said, "So when you're finished with this, how long will it last for before you have to come back?" And they said, "Oh, we'll never finish. Once we do one side, someone will have to start on the other side."
Yeah,
so,
it's like was it the fourth bridge? The fourth bridge is the same, isn't it? As soon as they finish painting, they start again, don't they?
Well, I mean, it's constant. These buildings need constant maintenance, and I think that's fine because then that means you've got constant generations of stonemasons and painters and people with these skills carrying on.
Yeah, so anyway, this place is just like absolutely bizarre, and it's quite dangerous as well because, like I said, there's doors that open out over 30-foot drops and things like that.
Hey, Flurry Canary says there's 100-year-old cockatoos out there as well. So, I mean, I didn't know. What is the longest lived bird?
I don't know. I know there's
Yeah.
They're talking about the bear and the eagle.
They're talking about the alligator as well, and they say, "Is that Mark Collett's favourite reptile?"
Yeah. Well, some of those, is it the Galapagos turtles? Those massive turtles, aren't they? Some of those are 200-300 years old, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they live a long time. But you can imagine a slow, ponderous turtle having a long life. But birds, by their nature, being flighty creatures, I didn't think they'd be that long lived.
Well, that and the amount of predators they've got. I mean, there's always birds are unless you're like an eagle or something, you're always pretty low in the pecking order, aren't you?
Mind you, I've seen a picture of a crow on top of an eagle, and it's harassing it. Crows tend to be gits like that sort of stuff.
Hate speech known a few old birds, apparently.
Ron Anderson says birds are dinosaurs.
I can't believe the Wayne Rooney joke hasn't come out yet.
Ron Anderson says birds are dinosaurs in drag.
Yeah, they do look weird. I'll give them that.
I used to work next to car mechanics, and the owner of the business reminded me of Wayne Rooney. Looked the same.
How about have you seen this one? Farmer is left baffled by eggs with green yolks.
Yeah, those are bright green yolks.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Have a guess what country it's in, Hobbit. You've got two guesses in case you get the first one wrong. What's that?
Uruguay.
India.
China.
India.
Oh. India. Yeah, so what is it that's polluting these eggs and turn them green in India?
That yolk looks weird as well. It's like creamy. Oh.
Yeah, that's it's not a healthy looking egg, is it?
Out of the 6 chicks which hatch from these eggs, fucking hell, they exactly hatch. A few have started to lay eggs, and those yolks are also green in colour.
It's messed up. Oh no, there's a story for grub and glory. Man dies while trying to eat 50 hard-boiled eggs.
Oh, where's that? Oh, is that in the related
stories? Yeah, I'm gonna find this
green.
Green.
Are we gonna do this one then? Are we?
Well, no, I'm thinking that's for grub and glory.
Are we saving that one then, are we?
Yeah. He's. I guess he tried to do a cool hand Luke. Wasn't very cool. You dying though.
Yeah. A fossil of world's largest kangaroo discovered. Were we talking about kangaroos the other day? Was it in VC or was it on a show? I can't remember.
Been talking about in grub and glory because kangaroos are hard bastards, aren't they? Oh, that was it. It was talking about boxing.
What's his name? The hench kangaroo is dead now. What was his name?
Was he? Steroid abusing kangaroo.
Yeah, it's a famous kangaroo, isn't he? Because he's big.
Because he's juiced up. A giant lizard the size of a car. When they say the size of the car, do they mean like the Tata Nano or a
size of a
Micra?
Small car, so they're assuming it'd be at 500.
All right. So it's not the size of a Range Rover.
Fucking hell, kangaroo weighing 274 kilograms and standing 22.5 meters tall. Fucking hell.
So in other words, like
what's that in proper money, Hobbit?
Well, in old money, that's over £500. 250 kilos would be £550. So yeah, it's close to £600.
Which is what in stone? 514.
14, but yeah, I don't know, but you know, me £600. So in other words, it's your average ethnic American, hyphenated American.
Yeah,
it's like, but just a lot taller.
So it's 140 is 10 stone, 280 is 20 stone.
Mate, I think it's.
So you're looking at something like a 30, 40 stone. What's 2.5 meters?
2.5 meters is it's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. Was it 3 feet a meter? 3 feet a meter, roughly.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? So 275 kilograms, 43 stone. There we go.
43 stone, and so what's the height then, Hobbit? Well, you got your.
Oh yeah, we'll do length. So its length is not miles. We'll go into meters, and we want it in feet and inches, or just feet. 2.5. Oh, it's not 25. No, come on, I can do this. 2.5 is 8 foot. 8 foot. What is 1/5 of a foot? It's more than 8 feet. 1/5 of an inch, 12 inches is this. Oh dear, this hurts my head.
I think countdown for dullards.
I need to lie down. Well, hang on. 1/5 of a foot is you've got 12 inches in the feet, so 1/5 of a foot
2 inches.
Is no, because there'd be if it was 10 inches, that'd be 1/5. Come on, I should be able to. All right, so 1/4 of a foot is 4 inches, right? I think no, 1/4 of a foot is 3 inches. So, let's just say it's 2 inches. It's too hard to figure out. It's 8 foot 2 inches.
2.5 inches. We'll add a bit on there. So an 8 foot 2, 43 stone kangaroo. What the fuck? That's that's pretty big, isn't it?
I mean, the kangaroo's herbivores. He's got to be eating a lot of chips and meat pies in order to be that weight.
Fucking hell, this is real. This is some real fucking crap presenting hours, isn't it?
It's fine, mate. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
This is what the audience wants.
Couple of stuttering retards.
They tune in to listen to our mathematics powerhouse as we convert these metric measurements into old money.
Kangaroos have single-chambered stomachs, quite unlike those of cattle and sheep, which have 4 compartments. They sometimes regurgitate the vegetation they've eaten and chew it as cud, and then swallow it again for final digestion. However, this is a different, more strenuous activity than it is in ruminants. Different species of kangaroos have different diets, although they're all strict herbivores. But still, you won't want to be in the middle of one of their fucking rows, would you?
Well, not at all. But then again,
because you know people who go out hunting kangaroos, they have special like stab type vests for the dogs. Because what the kangaroos do with is it the back paws? They just scrape away, don't they? And they'd literally like disembowel the dog, wouldn't they?
Well, they rest on their tails and then they kick their legs out, and they've got claws on the legs which will tear flesh. And yeah, I mean, just because something's a herbivore doesn't mean it can't fight back. I mean, hippos kill far more than lions do in Africa every year.
Don't cows kill a certain amount of people a year as well?
Yeah, they do, but you don't want to be near a cow when it's calving. I imagine they kill quite a lot in India every year because there's Indians who be like, oh yes, if you cannot get any kaolin, then you can use the cow poo, and that is good Ayurvedic medicine property.
Brutus is in chat.
Oh yeah, there he is. Yeah, actually that was a big. I was in a chat with Brutus, and he proved to me that if you spray your walls with cow shit, it will have antifungal properties. But then you have walls sprayed with cow shit.
Yeah, but then your place smells about cow shit, doesn't it?
I know. It's like, but at least it won't be mouldy.
I think the hay fever's got me. I need some nettle soup, Hobbit.
No, what you need to get is some quail's eggs. This is a thing. I can. It turns out there's a chemical in quail's eggs. Sure, I could even tell people about it if you want.
Go on, then.
And it really helps with. So I'm going to look up quail's eggs and hay fever. So quail's eggs, hay fever. All right. So quail's eggs for sinus allergy and asthma treatment. Right. So let's get to the bit of it.
You do your autism bit. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, sure. So whilst my guest is suffering with tree pollen in his nose, did you know that quail's eggs are good for you? Yeah, it is. Excuse me, I'm right. Let me see. Where's the bit which I want to go through? Because this article is just sort of saying like a long list of symptoms. As a rich source of vitamin A retinol and antioxidants, it acts as a natural histamine suppressor while healing the mucous membrane and neutralizing free radicals, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but okay, so this is just advertising quail's eggs you can buy from them, but it doesn't actually go. There is a chemical, and chat, if you bear with me, I'll find out what it is. So this is not the one. Let me see. Allergy relief from quail egg powder. Well, this is a vitamin retailer. So maybe they'll actually mention what. There's a specific chemical in quail's eggs, and I think it's some sort of mucus-like chemical. You eat it, and then you're much better off. So what is it? What is it? Quail egg powder? No. Well, quail egg powder is just powdered eggs. You don't want to eat that. You want fresh quail's eggs. Here we go. So it started in the early 1970s when a French general practitioner noticed that farmers who raised quails presented fewer allergy symptoms than the general population in the same area. One quail farmer saw the gradual disappearance of existing asthma and constant allergy-related shortness of breath in his spouse and that of his employees when the consumption of quail eggs. Another quail farmer experimented successfully with this treatment when his own family and friends confirmed this observation. The physician gave them raw quail eggs to his allergy patients, including both adults and children, who observed a reduction in their symptoms. Subsequently,
Keeping it real's got a better solution. Just get 2 quail's eggs and shove them up your nose.
Oh yeah, that will definitely stop the pollen getting up your nose. And
Yeah. JD,
subsequently
I think you're overthinking
investigate.
it a bit.
Yeah, I know. But so here we go. Here we go. The clinical trials are carried out by a large group of physicians under the direction of a highly respected French allergist, physician Dr. G. Brutman. In these studies, subjects suffering from outdoor and indoor allergens were given the retail name of this product they're trying to sell, tablets or placebo. In addition, each of the studies, including a good-sized population, was double-blinded. Results of these studies indicate the consumption of product name led to relief of subject symptoms, a good tolerability of the administered product. Following as review, I'm sorry, maybe the chat will find out and says, oh, actually, what you're looking for is this chemical here called mucinol or something like that. I say mucinol, I'm thinking it's something to do with mucus. You know that runny egg white stuff you get in eggs?
You ain't got to have them. You ain't got to have them raw, have you?
No, I imagine cooking them would do the same thing. But being that they're French, they're like, no, let's try it raw first and see what happens. But I mean, these farmers that are tending quails, I imagine they were having boiled or poached quail's eggs, fried.
It's the Mad Minute. It's the Mad Minute. I'll just report to everybody. It's the Mad Minute occurring.
Oh no! One of my neighbours has got an air horn.
Oh no!
I'll probably get a knock on the door soon saying you weren't out there at 8 p.m. clapping.
You haven't done your state mandated happy clap.
Do you hate our god, the NHS? Why are you a heretic?
Do you want people to die? Is that it? Do you want people to die? Is that why you're not clapping?
You know, I think yes.
Yeah.
Yes, mate. I want people to die.
Did you see that?
More people.
Since we're talking about the NHS, did you see that video earlier on? I think it was on Twitter, and it was literally somebody filming of a TikTok video. And like most people were standing around going like, what the fuck's going on?
How long do we have to keep this hole cleared out for? Oh, they're just going to be filming something, then they can go back to normal. Valeri Canary says, I thought somebody was tossing off in the alley. I wonder what kangaroo tastes like. I've never eaten it.
I don't know, but I know what happens when you cross a kangaroo and a sheep.
I don't know. Tell me.
Woolly jumper.
Oh yeah. Okay. I was just trying to imagine the logistics of how the Welshman's going to hold on whilst it's jumping all around.
What is this madness all about with the NHS? We need to do an episode on the NHS because I'm starting to think it's some sort of fucking doomsday cult.
Oh, this is proper woo-woo stuff, isn't it? I mean, like I said, I need to drive through this village where the tosser lives, or I've mentioned before, and this tosser used to have a flag of the EU in outside. Oh, fuck off, will you? He used to have a flag of the EU outside his house, but now he's got a rainbow flag with the NHS emblazoned on it.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's getting to the point now where I want a cross of St. George flag so I can just go around and people's like, I want a
booper flag. I'm going to start flying a booper flag, I think.
I want to cross the St. George, and when they say you're a football hooligan, it's like, I'm a Christian, you fuckwit. This is the cross of St. George.
Yeah. A Templar.
Now
get off my doorstep before I run you through. like a good Templar would.
Deus Volt, you heathen.
Yeah. Right, so have you finished with the quail's eggs now? Or?
Oh, no, I'm not eating quail's eggs.
No, I meant you bit on the quail's eggs.
Oh, yeah. Suffice to say, chat, I mean, if you can find out what the active ingredient is in quail's eggs that helps with hay fever. I'm just reading the chat, and it's like Fairy Canary says a bit about tossing off in the alley, and Hate Speech says it could have been me.
Right, so cattle mutilation, also known as bovine excision, which sounds pretty creepy, an unexplained livestock death, is the killing and mutilation of cattle under unusual, usually bloodless, and anomalous circumstances. Worldwide, sheep, horses, goats, pigs, rabbits, cats, dogs, bison, deer, and elk have all been reported mutilated with similar bloodless excisions. Often ear, eyeball, jaw flesh, tongue, lymph nodes, genitals, and rectum are removed. Since the first it's just a Frenchman, isn't it? Well, I think I figured this out. It's just somebody who's French, isn't it?
Who wants to eat lymph nodes, though?
I don't know. They're a bit chewy.
No, they're full of pus. You definitely don't want to eat lymph.
Yeah. So, since the first reports of animal mutilations, various explanations have been offered, ranging from ball lightning, Venus, swamp gas, natural decomposition to a normal predation to cults and secretive governmental and military agencies to a range of speculations, including cryptid predators like chupacabra and extraterrestrials. Mutilations have been the subject of 2 independent federal investigations in the US.
Did they go nowhere?
Yeah, well, where do they ever go?
I don't know. I mean, it's like with the various governments around the world disclosing what information they have about UFOs. I want them to say, "Oh yeah, we've been working with these grey aliens for a while," and they go around mutilating animals, and they keep on doing it, and they're very scientific about it.
Yeah, so the earliest known documented outbreak of unexplained livestock deaths occurred early in 1606. About the city of London and some of the shires adjoining, whole slaughters of sheep have been made, and in some places to number 100, in others less, where nothing is taken from the sheep but their tallow and some inward parts, and the whole carcasses and fleece remaining still behind. Of this sundry conjectures, but most agree that it tendeth towards some fireworks. That's a bit weird, isn't it? The outbreak was noted in the official records of the Court of James I of England.
Strange stuff.
Charles Fort collected many accounts of cattle mutilations that occurred in England in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Obviously, Charles Fort, the man who this podcast is named after. That's where Fortean comes from.
Didn't know that.
Did you not know that? It comes from Charles Fort. He was a rich guy. I might as well tell you a bit about Charles Fort then. Charles Hoy Fort. I didn't know
about the etymology of Fortean.
So Charles Hoy Fort, August 6th, 1874 to May 3rd, 1932, was an American writer and researcher who specialised in anomalous phenomena. The terms Fortean...
It's easy for you to say.
It is, isn't it? Fortean and Forteana are sometimes used to characterise various such phenomena. Fort's books sold well and are still in print. His work continues to inspire admirers who refer to themselves as Forteans, and it has influenced some aspects of science fiction. So if you want to read some Charles Fort, Fort's collections of scientific anomalies, including The Book of the Damned 1919, influenced numerous science fiction writers, and their iconoclastic skepticism and sources of ideas. Fortean phenomena are events which seem to challenge the boundaries of accepted scientific knowledge, and the Fortean Times, founded as The News in 1973 and renamed in 1976, investigates such phenomena.
And we're not affiliated with them. I think it's worth just pointing that out again.
Yeah, we've never met Charles Fort.
No. Nor that bloke from Fortean Times with the one with the beard.
Oh, Lionel Fanthorpe, the motorbiking vicar.
Yeah, I've never met him.
Surprising, because he sounds like he's from down your way.
Oh, doubtless I might have seen him in passing, but I don't know him, and not shaking his hand. It's like, oh yeah, you're the editor of that magazine I like.
No, he just did the TV, didn't he? The TV program.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, because that's what popularized it. Oh no, there's sirens as well. There's probably going to be a knock on my door.
Oh no, you won't
Says,
bump into him
hello.
because he's born in Dereham in Norfolk, and he lives in Cardiff, South Wales.
Ah, good. Yeah, I haven't met him.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just heard sirens outdoor. There might be a knock on my door saying, "Why weren't you clapping?"
You didn't do your state mandated clap.
Yeah, you are arrested for blasphemy.
So, right, did you want to... I'll do it. Right, physical characteristics of mutilations. In most cases, mutilation wounds appear to be clean and carried out surgically. Mutilated animals are sometimes, though not always, reported to have been drained of blood and show no sign of blood in the immediate area around their wounds. According to Howard Burgess, nearly 90% of mutilated cattle are between 4 and 5 years old. The absence of tracks or footprints around the site of mutilated carcass is often considered a hallmark of cattle mutilation. However, in some cases, strange marks or imprints near the site have been found. In the famous Snippy case, there was an absolute absence of tracks within a 100-foot radius of the carcass, even though the horse's own tracks disappeared within 100 feet of the body. But within this radius, several small holes were found seemingly punched in the ground, and 2 bushes were absolutely flattened.
So it was lifted up into the air.
Seems like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, in June 1976, a trail of suction cup-like impressions were found leading from a mutilated 3-year-old cow. The indentations were in a tripod form, 4 inches in diameter and 28 inches apart, and disappeared 500 feet from the dead cow. Similar incidents were reported in the area in 1978. So we have some laboratory reports. Laboratory reports carried out on some mutilated animals have shown unusually high or low levels of vitamins or minerals in tissue samples, and the presence of chemicals not normally found in animals. However, not all mutilated animals display these anomalies, and those that do have slightly different anomalies from one to another. On account of the time between death and necropsy, and a lack of background information on specific cattle, investigators have found it impossible to determine if these variations are connected to the animal's deaths or not. In one case, documentary by the New Mexico police and the FBI, an 11-month-old Hereford Charleroi.
It means Charles the King. Charleroi.
Belonging to a Mr. Manuel Gomez of Dulce, New Mexico, was found mutilated on March the 24th, 1978. It displayed classic mutilation signs, including the removal of the rectum and sex organs with what appeared to be a sharp and precise instrument, and its internal organs were found to be inconsistent with a normal case of death followed by predation. Both the liver and heart were white and mushy. Both organs had the texture and consistency of peanut butter. What do you think to that then, Hubbard?
I mean, I can't speak for liver, which is quite a flabby and rubbery organ. But the heart is a tough muscle. It's a lump of muscle and gristle, and it's got all sorts of blood vessels snaking in and outside of it, because the heart needs to be nourished by blood. It doesn't get its sustenance from the thing itself. So that it would be the consistency of peanut butter and mushy. I mean, that means it's been completely pulped. One of the things I find fascinating about that is they're saying that they've got elevated levels of hormones and vitamins in their bodies, or like depleted levels.
It can be both, depleted or extra.
So to me, what it sounds like is that there's I'm going to say, until someone proves otherwise, that grey aliens in flying saucers pick them up. That's why they're flying around, because they either grab them or they've got a teleporter beam which holds them up. They do their vivisection on them, and probably when alive. Yeah, and then when they're done with it, they just drop it off. And I'm thinking to myself, why would they drop it off? Why not just like steal it? And then people just go, oh, it's a cattle theft. It's why leave evidence of this weird stuff going along? But this evidence is there. And this evidence shows that it's not normal predators doing it. And I don't think people with just basic surgical tools could alter the hormone levels.
Well, when you go into some of these, some of the cases, say there's a really specific level of cutting. I mean, really, like more accurate than with a scalpel. Some of it I've read, some of the cases I've read about.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff where you search a surgeon and they say, I couldn't do that, and I don't know any surgeon alive that could do
Yeah.
that. Incredibly precise stuff. I mean, am I right in thinking I might be jumping the gun here, but there's like corpses where the blood vessels have been removed or the nerves have been removed whilst not damaging all the other organs?
I haven't found any. I haven't personally read about stuff like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was possible. One of the weirdest one I read about was like there was a dog. Somebody saw this like mysterious dog thing, and it was ripping ears out at the root. I don't even know what that means.
What is the root
of
of an ear?
Yeah, exactly. But they were like just ripping ears off of. I think it was sheep.
I mean, the only thing I can think of ear ripping is Vincent van Gogh or Chopper Harris.
Yeah. Right. So the animal's heart, as well as bone and muscle samples, were sent to the Los Alamos Scientific Laboratory for microscopic and bacteriological studies, while samples from the animal's liver were sent to two separate private laboratories. Los Alamos detected the presence of naturally occurring Clostridium bacteria in the heart. Do you know what that is?
Sorry, I was just in the middle of suppressing a sneeze. Yeah, Clostridium is one of those, like Streptococcus albans and the other one. Every like living creature and thing is covered in bacteria, and Clostridium is something which you get in your skin, but is not usually in your internal organs.
Well, basically, Hobbit. If you look in the Mutilations channel, it's the top one. I'm going through the Wikipedia first before I go through some of the articles. I'm down at laboratory reports if you want to read along.
So let's see. Cat on mutilations. Yep. I mean, I'm not sure if this is something for another episode, but this will tie into alien implants.
Yeah, we can do alien implants at some point.
Yeah.
So Los Alamos detected the presence of naturally occurring Clostridium bacteria in the heart, but was unable to reach any conclusions because of the possibility that the bacteria represented post-mortem contamination. No microscopic changes of pathological significance were found in the heart tissue. So here's the one. Samples from the animal's liver were found to be completely devoid of copper and to contain 4 times the normal level of zinc, potassium, and phosphorus. The scientists performing the analysis were unable to explain these anomalies. Well, if it's devoid of copper, it's got to be pikeys that are taking them, then, isn't it? I bet.
Was it? Did it have low levels of lead as well?
Yeah, space pikeys.
There we go. They go in their flying saucer transit vans, and they just go nicking lead and copper out of people's animals.
So does that say anything to you? Like no copper and 4 times the normal level of zinc, potassium, and phosphorus.
I don't know. I'm not enough of a biologist to say that. Oh yeah, this would indicate this, and this has happened. Because I mean, the only thing I could say is if you've got elevated levels of adrenochrome, that shows that adrenaline's been coursing through their body, and adrenochrome is one of the metabolites of adrenaline. So that indicates if a creature or a human's been tortured, they'll have adrenochrome in their body.
Right, so blood samples taken at the scene were reported to be light pink in colour. So does that mean like highly oxygenated then, does it? Hobbit or something?
No. I've seen arterial blood before. It's bright red, whereas venous blood is dark red, like a almost mahogany in some cases colour, or maroon.
Did not clot after several days as well.
Well, there you go. It has something added to it. I mean, I want to say a plasticizing agent, but that would clot it. So this has got something inside it which has changed the color from red to pink, and it stops it from clotting. So what chemicals can stop blood from clotting? An anticoagulant.
Warfarin. I don't know,
Yeah,
because
that does
there's
walk.
not enough information, is there? Because like rat
Yeah, what
poison,
color
rat
pink
poison.
isn't it?
Oh no, because rat poison makes the blood so thin that it goes through the organs that it seeps out through the organs, doesn't it? That's how blood poison works. That's how rat poison works, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Because I know, like, well, there's numerous sorts of rat poison. You're not supposed to use it, but if I've heard of people using nicotine as a poison, which is vasoconstrictive, and
I
that
think
just
warfarin's the main one, isn't it? You know, the one that they give to people after they've had heart operations and things.
yeah, yeah. I mean, literal rat poison. It's like, here you go, have some of this.
Been informed by my research. Apparently, heparin is the one.
Heparin.
Heparin. Sorry.
Oh, heparin.
Yeah,
Hep- heparin. Write
heparin. I
that
think.
down, Jamie. Light pink in color. Didn't clock. Oh, there's a citation for this, so I'm going to click on the citation and see Operation Catalan Section 4 FBI report. Ah, um, there's this FOIA request. Oh, this is just like a hand typed document from the 1960s, so there
Oh,
won't
is
be
it?
any photographs. Yeah, there won't be any photographs on it saying what color light pink it is.
Uh,
Um, but there is actually things that was talking about. Can I zoom in on this? No, I can't. I'm on vault.fbi.gov, so
ooh.
maybe we'll be getting a knock on the door. Why were you looking up animal mutilations?
Oh, you're
Oh
looking at
no, I was
the flesh
bored.
underneath found to be discoloured. That link there.
No. I just the citation for light pink in color, citation 11. So I'm looking at here, and it's like findings, but heart muscle, no microscopic changes of pathological significance were found.
Blimey, it's 27
Um,
animal mutilation. There's the one I'm on is
hmm.
animal mutilation. 27 pages of it. It's
Oh,
really
here we
badly
go. So,
copied, isn't it?
mm, so I'm looking here. This bacteriology. It says a specimen obtained from a heart chamber was cultured and shown to contain a rod-shaped organism identified as Clostridium species. Well, Clostridium just means it's rod-shaped. Definitive classification was not made. There we go. It's just yeah, some sort of bacteria was in the heart which looked consistent with what Clostridium looks like. But yeah, this is sorry, chat. I'm scrolling through hand typed, handwritten documents here,
That's
which
photos started really badly.
yeah, and unfortunately there's no diagrams or something which is pertinent. But I'm on this like what color
Oh,
light pink it
it says
is,
in the
and
one I found the liver was checked against the healthy food market liver. They just went
mhm,
down. They
yeah.
just went down the fucking butchers and bought a liver.
Well, yeah, I mean, for that's what I would if I was working in a lab and I'd be like, "Hey, look, I don't eat liver. Is this what liver should look like?" Well, here's 50 cents. Go and buy some liver from the butcher and compare them.
Yeah.
Look it under the microscope. Um, yeah, yeah. But here's the bit which I mean, you said this before, but I'm scrolling up to it. I'm going to do like, here's what you said 10 minutes ago. Um, Rio Arriba country, New Mexico, sorry, in June
Ah,
1976.
yeah. So I see that now. The pinkish blood is a control type of radiation used to kill the animal. According to this is really hard to read. According to something experts, the red corpuscles, corpul, it's not corpuscles, it's two
Corpuscles.
corpuscles are destroyed, leaving the pale pinkish colour. Does that mean anything to you, Hobbit?
The red corpuscles are destroyed, leaving a pale pinkish. Yeah, so they're saying the red blood cells have been obliterated,
Yeah.
which leaves so the pale pink color is, I'm guessing, it's the color of blood plasma with the iron from the hemoglobin mixed it.
Oh, so it says
Weird.
a probable explanation for the pinkish blood is a control type of radiation used to kill the animal. According to radiation, that must be radiation experts. The red, whatever you said, are destroyed, leaving the pale pinkish colour. All toxicology findings on blood are negative because of the dissemination of the radiation. I'm gonna have to guess because the right hand side of the page is missing. So anything at the right hand side of the page, you have to guess.
Well, I know from aseptic technique and dealing with like contaminated lab samples, you put all contaminated lab equipment and samples. Well, you either incinerate the samples. If you want to recycle anything, you stick it into an autoclave. An autoclave is a pressure cooker which goes to 180 degrees and uses steam. But they found that if you use an autoclave which does all the steaming, but you also put microwave beams into it, it's even more effective at destroying bacteria, fungus, and viruses. So biocontainment labs, they use steam microwave oven autoclaves, and you could use a microwave tuned to a certain frequency which would shatter red blood cells.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is. I mean, this is.
It's quite
because
interesting.
the thing is,
I think we might just do this and we'll do the rest of the. Because this is quite good, isn't it? Because you've got an actual FBI report to go through, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, so we're looking at citation 11, is it? I mean, because I just closed that. So if I go, it was 1976. The liver and stuff was pulped. Where was it? Was saying about? Oh yeah, citation 11. So if I go to citation 11,
I'm on page 4 out of 27 of the PDF.
Oh yeah. God, I wish I could download this PDF. Is there a way I could do that? Oh yeah, here we go. I can click on it there.
Yeah, you can click on it.
Downloading from FBI.gov. So I'm clicking on it so you don't have to, audience.
So it says Martinez, who was visiting his son-in-law, I can barely read this, so it's Mauricio Gomez, I assume, brother of Manuel Gomez, heard a low-flying aircraft in the vicinity of where the mutilated bull was found at approximately 3 a.m. on 4th of the 24th, 78.
Yeah. The 4-inch circular imprints were identical to the ones found in a similar tortilla.
Mutilation. Basically, what it is, the right-hand side of they didn't photostat it properly, so the right-hand side of the page is missing. So that must be mutilation.
Approximately 13 miles east of Dulce on June the 13th, 1976, which also involved one of Mr. Gomez's cattle. Yeah. Investigation of these strange mutilations have been hampered.
Yeah.
Yeah, hampered. I'm sorry, chat, but we're missing like an inch of the document here. Have been hampered inability to find laboratories which will perform tests and report accurate findings. This writer was fortunate enough to have found this situation, shortly after it occurred. I assume CCC means occurred.
Yeah, I've just put it up so chat can see how bad this thing is we're trying to read.
Yeah, so chat, if you're here, we're on page 4 at the moment. In either case, should I give them the FBI link?
Yeah, can do.
I don't think you'll get in any trouble reading this, chat. So let me just copy this here.
Oh, I've done it.
Oh, Flurry Canary helped us out. Anticoagulationuk.org. List of anticoagulants. I mean, the thing is that something was done to the blood to make it.
Well, we know now we've read this. We know it wasn't anticoagulant. We know it was radiation that was used to break down the blood. Don't we?
Yeah, it was. So what I'm doing in other cases, animals are found only days or weeks after mutilation. It is writer's opinion that these animals have been something for something time before they are mutilated. Also, investigation shows that all mutilations are to native cattle. In Rio Ara County, approximately 15,000 herd of steers imported from Arizona, Mexico, Texas,
etc.
Another county, have not been mutilated.
I think that's etc., isn't it?
Yeah, oh, that's it. ECT. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is an ECT. Again, chat. I mean, you can see here it's a poor copy.
Yeah.
It is writer's theory that these animals are picked up by aircraft, mutilated
Elsewhere.
and returned and dropped from aircraft. This is indirect from bruise marks and broken bones or cattle. So they dropped out of the plane. Identical mutilations have been taking place all
This
over
is
the
indicated.
southwest.
I think this is indicated from bruised neck, bruise
Yeah.
marks and broken bones on cattle.
Can you bruise post-mortem? No, there's no blood.
Dropping them half dead?
Yeah, they must be. So they're not even dead when they're dropping them. Identical mutilations have been taking place all over the southwest. It is something that no eyewitnesses to these incidents have come forward, or that no accidents or have occurred. Mangled word to admit that whoever is responsible for the mutilations is well organized, with boundless technology and financing and sorcery.
Secrecy.
Oh, secrecy.
Yeah.
Secrecy, sorcery. It's
sorcery.
one letter off.
Yeah.
Writer is presently guessing it.
That's really interesting, considering this is in an FBI report.
Well, yeah, I mean, the FBI report is having to say, what they think, and just I'll read the last sentence here. It says, "Writer is presently getting equipment, though, through the efforts of Dr. Edward Burgess." Through the efforts of Dr. Edward Burgess, unrecognizable word, some initials, to detect substances on the cattle which might mark them and be pinched on all Mr. Goze's cattle in the near future. He says, sorry, that I'm going from page 4, and then I'm going from where it says PI to page 5, where it says 8 narrative. Up by infrared rays, but not visible to the naked eye.
That's picked.
Picked up by infrared rays, but not visible to the naked eye. These tests will be on all of Mr. Gomez's cattle in the near future. Assisting in this investigation is Ms. Bird, New Mexico Cattle Sanitary Board, and Mr. Bovine Burgess,
Mr.
Albuquerque.
Howard Burgess, Albuquerque, and then some initials.
And then Gabriel Valdez signed it. I mean, I tell you what, have you ever heard of something called Slow Scan TV? This might tie into a true crime thing. Well, Slow Scan TV is this way that you can use, a fax machine sends like warbly noises, and then the fax machine on the other end will turn that into an image.
Yeah, well, also like your old Commodore 64 when it used to do.
Yeah.
You used to press play on the tape and you'd hear all the data being exchanged.
Just like my Sinclair Spectrum. I say my Sinclair Spectrum, my uncle's Sinclair Spectrum, which he'd let me play with.
Yeah.
Slow Scan TV was the same sort of thing. Like, say you got like a policeman out in the field and they wanted a mugshot. They'd use the police radio. They'd send a warbly thing, and then your Slow Scan TV on the other side would like scan line by line the image. And I was shown it today.
Is this that shortwave thing we were talking about during the Number Station episode?
That is the same. Yeah, it's the same thing where you can encode images in sound. But this way it works. It just uses 3 frequency bands. So you can sort of hear very high pitched whistling. It sounds a bit like a waltz because it's da da da.
Did you hear the bit when they talk about the warble? There's a warble. People heard a trill. I think the trill sound is what they say when these cattle go missing.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about it. Hey, this is really good. Because I'm looking at the thing on YouTube here.
Yeah.
And what's happening there is because of YouTube's compression of the video feed, it's managing to do noise sampling.
Oh, it's clearing all these is it?
Yeah, it's cleared them up. What you need to do is get it on page 5 I think it's page 5 where it's got like his signature. Just hover it on that for like half a minute and see if it clears it up a lot.
Where do you want it?
Can you,
Page 5. Which bit of page 5? Oh, that page.
page 5 is just like where he's got the signature, respectfully submitted, Gabriel Valdez. Yeah, and it's just let's see if it'll clear it up, because the little bits of noise you see there, that to me suggests that it's been transmitted over radio waves or some other really noisy medium.
Isn't it? Isn't there some? What's the older version of photocopying? Is it a photostat? Is it? Do you think
I've never encountered a photostat, but
I'm sure there's a like pre-photocopying version of copying.
It's incredible watching YouTube's compression algorithm dealing with this noise and going like, oh, this isn't actually what you want to see. So yeah, it's making it more legible. I'm going to make it big screen and just have a look at that, and up by infrared rays but not visible to me. That's incredible. So I'm looking at that, and it's doing error correction, and it's making it easier to read than it is the actual PDF on my screen here. Because I got it on the other screen as well. Sorry, chat. This is just satisfying my autism about error correction and image handling. We aren't going to talk about cattle mutilations. I learned about slow scan TV today, and I understand it's a way you can send fax images over a civilian or police band radio.
Right, so Photostat machine, or Photostat, was an early projection photocopier created in the decade of the 1900s by a commercial camera company which became the Photostat Corporation. The Photostat...
Created in the decade in the 1900s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Decade.
People like their weird language, don't they?
Yeah. There's no, like... I'm sure that was photostated rather than photocopied.
Yeah. I mean, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they digitized it so we can read this stuff.
Oh, right. Both the rectigraph and the photostat machines consisted of a large camera that photographed documents or papers and exposed an image directly onto rolls of sensitized photographic paper that were about 30 feet long. A prism was placed in front of the lens to reverse the image. After a 10-second exposure, the paper was directed to developing and fixing baths where then either air or machine dried. Since the print was directly exposed without the use of an intermediate film, the result was a negative print. A typical typewritten document would appear on the photostat print with a black background and white letters. Thanks to the prism, the text will remain legible. Using photostats took about 2 minutes in total. The result could in turn be photostated again to make any number of positive prints.
Yeah, and I'm reading. I'm scrolling ahead to page 6, where Donald Peterson gives a bacteriological report of the tissue samples. He says it's inconclusive. Yeah, there's some Clostridium contamination in the heart muscle, but that could have happened post-mortem.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I mean, Mr. What was his name? Gabriel Valdez. Gabriel L. Valdez. His conclusions that, you know, this whoever's got this has got great secrecy and technology and
oh god, this one's
sorcery.
even worse. Have you seen page 8?
Let's get to page 8 then.
Page 8. You have a go at reading that. That's awful.
All right. Okay, chat. Hemi's gonna stop it on page 8, and hopefully YouTube will make it easy for you to read. But if you full screen it now, and
Hemi, for 1 second. I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay. So whilst he's doing that, I'm going to look at here on the YouTube, and I'm going to look at my thing here. So I'm looking on my local copy here, and it says on 6-14-78, I was contacted by Mr. Martinez Gomez at 2 p.m. Reference? And what does the YouTube say? No, the YouTube is actually even more illegible on reference. Reference mutilation, which had taken place at his Burner Ranch. What does that say? At his, I can't read that word. Sorry, chat. So you can read along with me here. 13 miles east of Dulce, investigation at scene revealed that a 4-year-old Hereford native something. The carcass was lying on it's got left crossed out and right handwritten on its right side with tongue and sex organs precisely removed. Pinkish blood from her nose was visible, and the left
Are you actually
front
reading that
leg,
through YouTube?
yes. If you made it fit to page, you might have to like control and scroll wheel it. But yeah.
Wait, it's fit to screen as it's on fit to screen at the moment. I mean, if on the
well, if I could, I'm not sure. I can't do a screen share because we're on Discord, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
fit to
but
page,
I'm yeah. So, but anyway, right side
fit to
tongue,
width.
pink.
There you go.
Yeah, there. So you'll see this in a bit. So, pinkish blood from her nose was visible, and the left front something missing. Her left leg was broken.
What page are you on anyway? 8. I'm on 8.
I'm on page 8. Just past pinkish blood. I'm on the next line because like half it's legible.
How many lines down is that?
So pinkish blood is the 5th line down. So
pinkish blood from her nose was
visible,
wiggly ball,
and the left front leg was something.
You know what? They don't need to redact stuff. They just photostat it.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, oh no, we released this information to the public. Parts were visible on the lower left leg. Claw or vice had been fastened. Clamp or vice had been fastened. No imprints or tracks around. Mutilation site was approximately 500 yards north of the something.
Yeah.
Mutilated animal on June 14th, 1976. Investigation of the elsewhere and distilled and oh, I'm sorry, chat, but I mean you can it's so illegible. It's just like there's so much information here. They could probably just like, oh yes, we detected an element not seen previously discovered.
That's just as bad on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube can't. YouTube's just like, I'm sorry, Matt, I can't deal with this. But it's all right. So what? Page 9. I mean, the fact is, chat. You've got the links to it. You can read it if you want to yourself. But there's 27 pages of these cattle mutilations.
Yeah.
But we don't want to focus just on that because we want to get onto all of it, don't we, Hemi?
Well, you can. I think this is quite interesting because at least we've got an actual document, haven't we?
Yeah, it is. I'm just thinking the big picture here. You know what's going on? Why do these space aliens want to like do such vivisection of our animals, and why are they doing it to them live? Don't they understand that's inhumane?
Yeah.
Do they care?
I mean, we're guessing if these things are bruised that they're literally fucking clawing out the sexual organs, mushing its fucking heart up, taking its eyes out, and then just literally dumping
microwaving its blood.
Yeah, and then just fucking dumping it out on the field, still like quivering.
I mean, honestly, these people need a strongly written letter from RSPCA.
Yeah, that'll stop it. That'll learn them.
We need to get our most powerful radio telescopes to beam a message to Sirius the Dog Star and say, "Oi, sort it out. Stop."
We need space Karens. We need space Karens to go up there and sort this out.
I think Sirius is about 31 light years from Earth, so in about 31 years' time, they'll be like, "Oh, they said they'll fine us if we keep on mutilating their cattle." All right, let's just focus on
the. I don't know how much alien lore you know, Hobbit, but do you know? Is it I can't remember which American president it was signed a deal with the Pleiadians, allowing them to kidnap people.
Cool.
Is it I want to say Truman.
When did this happen?
Whenever Truman was president.
What? Yeah, I didn't know about the Pleiadian deal, but was that a Pleiadian bargain?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, chat. but got to have a few jokey jokes whilst we talk about organs being pulped into peanut butter.
Yeah.
The reason I mentioned Sirius as well is just that the Egyptians seem to put great importance on it, and they got their Great Pyramid. The only star you can see through that chamber is Sirius. So, what's up with that then?
If you go down to page 12, attached is a portion of some correspondence received from Senator Harrison Schmitt indicating that 15 mutilation of animals have occurred in Indian country and New Mexico over the past 3 years.
When he's saying Indian, does he mean curry Indian or what? I mean, do these animal mutilations occur in India?
No, Indian country. It must be a part of Mexico, mustn't it?
I don't know.
Was this like mid-70s? So I assume they were like.
I also assume that this is going on in other parts of the world as well. But
yeah, it's not just
the FBI.
I've found quite a few British reports. I don't know if you want to go through a few.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if this is happening in Germany or Russia or like Africa. Well, I mean, if it's happening in Africa, I mean, forget about it. But we are searching for the murder. You're there. Did you do it?
If you go to the next link down, which is Beam's investigations, there's some reports from England.
Beam's investigation. This is in the stack, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a few British ones, so we could do some.
Let's see. Animal mutilations. Disturbing cases
from
Bempton,
because I want to do an episode on Bempton because that's quite an interesting place.
Okay.
So we'll do the latest farm animal. So we'll do the one from the 10th of the 10th, 2016. Latest farm animal mutilation case. Middleswich near Northwich, which is in Cheshire.
I don't know where in the step because I'm looking like the one after. Oh yeah, right at the top it's cattle mutilation. Then you've got Beam's investigations about.
That's the one. Click on that link, and then partway down that page you'll see a load of dates.
Load of dates. Yes, 2016. You said latest farm animal mutilation.
Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah.
This warning: this case is not for those who are easily made to feel sick or disgusted. To our audience.
So yeah, if you're offended by like mutilated corpses of a lamb's body, look away now. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think this. This is going to be big. This is a nice big clear picture for you. For you ghouls in the chat.
I'm looking at the lamb's carcass now, and it's got like. Well, the head has been.
I've got the sheep's head up first. Do you see how the jawbone's been stripped? Oh
yeah, so we'll go to the sheep's severed sheep's head. How was it I was able to say seashells by the seashore? Well, I can't say a severed sheep's head.
Sheep's severed head.
Yeah, it's easy for you to say.
Yeah.
That looks like it's been exsanguinated because there's no blood or other fluids coming out. The eye's completely. Now, mind you, maybe that's the work of ants or other insects.
That's been there for a long while, so I think this one's pretty inconclusive.
Yeah, it's pretty. And I'm just having a look at the carcass as well.
That's been there a very, very long time, hasn't it? To be dried out like that.
Yeah, that's had it. That carcass. I mean, there's bits of wool scattered around. That's not a fresh kill, but. The lamb's head and lamb's body and evidence of coring. Well, I'm just going to look at this
also, a few feet away, there were 2 dead lambs. One with its head missing, with the other with an eye cord out, plus a hole where I think the sexual organ had been removed, and another hole to the stomach. So this is real stuff.
Oh, it's nasty. I don't like seeing those blue bottles over the corpse.
Yeah, that's horrible, isn't it?
I don't like the idea that these animals, they've been experimented on whilst alive as well. I mean that's practically halal. That
because that can't be predation, can it? The one with the hind quarter missing.
No, because there'd be teeth marks on it. If you zoom in, if you click on it, because that's the fault. Go back to that lamb's head
That's a
again.
bit too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go back to.
I'm on the ribs at the minute.
Yeah, I know, but if you go back to the lamb's head, you can click on it to make it big because the actual image itself
I can't
is
actually
massive.
control it; just goes massive. I can't control
Yeah,
the size of it.
I know. So I'm looking at this now, and
yeah, that's quite cleanly taken out that eye, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm looking at the eye socket. There's nothing there. And the thing is, judging like its ears and the hairs and wool and stuff, it's freshly dead. There is a little bit of sign of blood on the wool around the eye socket. So that to me suggests that the eye was pulled out, and that was quite messy. And these creatures which did it didn't bother to clean up. But fuck's sake, why are they doing this?
Yeah, it's so then we're looking at the lambs.
I know they're godless demons which come from deep within the earth, but they tie this into the hollow earth.
Why have they done that with the head?
Well, they're demons, aren't they? It's. I mean, I even think to myself, because here's the thing, right? I remember reading years ago, I was in like a.
See, look, there's no blood anywhere near that body, is there?
No, it's. Whereas when I zoomed in on the picture of the head, I was looking at the eye socket. I could see there was a few red hairs around the eye socket, which suggests to me the eye was pulled out. But it's bizarre. I mean, here's the thing. I was on a mate's blog years ago, and one of the books he had on his table was this one about this guy that was working in UFOs, and he was receiving. He was picked by the Air Force because he could be telepathic. He could pick up messages just using power of his mind. And he was being trained to pick up alien messages, not just human ones. And he said he had to pack it in because he just couldn't deal with these greys, the way they just like machine-like, emotionlessly talk about all the animal mutilations they've done. It's just like cataloging, like, oh yeah, this animal had so many millimeters of blood. And they're almost doing like a Jahans, like 10 centiliters of semen, 500 centiliters of blood. Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still there, Hobbit. I'm just letting you go off, King.
Yeah, it's Jim Cook's CSI YouTube division. CSI. Yeah, so he got fed up. Yeah, he just got fed up with it because it's like there's nothing good coming of this. There's no progress and there's no end in sight to it. So why the fuck do they keep on doing this? I mean, and all I just think to myself is, well, they're not taking joy in it because these creatures.
Oh, do you want to watch a video? This one's a seal carcass that's been found.
Yeah, okay. Let's watch a video.
On a beach
in the sea, checking up on these lobster pots. Now, a very recent case of seal mutilation occurred in Canada, Vancouver, in September 2016. No spiral cuts this time, but extremely clean incisions, which are not characteristic of predation. The skins of seals are extremely tough, designed to withstand the abrasions of sand, stones, rock surfaces, etc. Therefore, the skin is difficult to cut neatly, even with a sharp scalpel. To then separate the skin from the blubber layer without leaving scraps of skin still attached to the blubber is almost impossible. On this seal found in Vancouver in September 2016, we see a perfect separation between skin and blubber with no residue apparent. The rectal core and the perfect 60 to 70 millimeter circular shallow cut with neat edge on the flipper looks like classic animal mutilation modus operandi. Continuing with the...
I mean, the thing about this as well, I mean, I almost think it's like calling cards. And my understanding is from what people have said about grey aliens, I suspect they are little goblin demon creatures which live in the bowels of the earth. And they're more like biological robots. They're not actually creatures that... Or maybe at one point there were creatures with free will, but they just gradually got subsumed and they're effectively biological robots. because the most recent article on Beam's investigations is an exsanguinated corpse of a coyote, which is just dangling on the power lines. I'm thinking they are really brazen about this stuff.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck,
really?
do they? You seen this?
No.
Where's the one I was going to do next? That's from 2015. Looks like another classic animal mute case. Obviously, they call them mutes then, mutilation cases. Syston in Leicestershire. So this is Honey the horse after the brutal attack. I think we might do a second part of this, because I haven't even done about the Croydon cat killer, because he's a thing all on his own, isn't he?
I think we will need to do a second part to this, because again, I'm going into speculation here, but it's based on what I've seen over the years, like when sat having a dump on my mate's toilet, reading his book about aliens. That you know, these creatures from Hollow Earth, they're doing this stuff, and all I can think is, well, the Greys themselves.
If you click on the thing,
will.
You can see the what happened to the horse, and it's not pleasant.
No, it's not. And
again, no blood. The only blood is on the fur.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, if you're taking off those parts of the animal, a lot of blood will spray out, because horses have got really high pressure blood.
Again, it's the eyes missing, and the ear. There's a big round bit around the ear, and then part of the snout's been taken as well.
Brutus says it's Satanist, but Brutus, if you listen to, I mean, in fact, I recommend you listen back to this at your leisure. There are things in this which wouldn't be achievable with a man with a sharp knife. I mean, the seal itself, you can't do that with sharp knives because of how tough seal skin is. But also, how do you fling an exsanguinated coyote corpse up onto a power line without it just burning? How do you neatly sever, pluck out the eye of something without all that stuff done? Because I've had to do animal dissection before, and by the way, I really fucking hated it. When you're pulling an eye out of the socket, it's bloody mess. Even when it's you're just dealing with a severed head, a lot of blood oozes out, and it smells bad, and there's all this wet, gory stuff comes out as well, and it's just yeah. No, I hated that. The worst thing is there was equine studies next to my classroom, and they were working on horse hooves, identifying tendons which would move the hoof one way or the other, and it was a bunch of diseased things. So those smelled absolutely fucking revolting. It just happened to be I was in their lab at the time because I was making soap, and there was no free benches in my classroom. So I was like, do you guys mind if I just have this sink in the corner? So yeah, if you don't mind the smell. I was like, well, I'm making soap, so maybe it'll be useful. Yeah.
Yeah, if you click on that Honey the horse, you actually see the horse without the pixelation.
Yeah. No, we're going to have to do a two-part on this, because I mean, we're coming up to almost 2 hours on this, Hemi, and again, my speculation is, why is it that these grey? Because I keep saying it's greys until someone proves otherwise. I'm going to say it's grey aliens with their flying saucers from the deeps coming out. They're mutilating cattle, but they don't have free will. So who's controlling them? Why? Is it just harvesting organs for some sort of ritual? What's going on? Why are they doing this?
So do you want to do another part next week then?
If we want to cover it next week, or if we need time to, if we do it next week, that a week should be enough time for it to just percolate and set on the unconscious. Yeah. Maybe something will happen in my dreams, or give you a bit more insight. Oh, right. Brutus is asking, why do greys not have free will? I mean, that's probably an episode, something for another episode. But from what I've read, they were creatures with free will, but then they became mechanized, and they're effectively biological robots now. They're just
that's why they hate us. And it's not why they hate us, it's why they want to breed with us, isn't it? Because we have souls and they don't, is one thing.
Yeah. But the thing is, they don't even reproduce now. They're all just clones of one another. They're a dead species, and they're just biological robots being used by others. I get a feeling with all this technology, that's something like that's probably being done to us because we are getting divorced from nature and reality. And when we're staying indoors, actually, Brutus said that. He says more people stay indoors, the more atheistic they become. That's something that's just mentioned in one of those Vedic or Hindu texts. And I think that's true. I mean, people in the cities, they are quite godless people.
Well, Brutus has got a big guest on tonight, hasn't he? He's got Eddie Butler from Anne-Marie Waters' party for Britain.
Brutus is doing a show tonight.
Yeah, he's got Eddie Butler tonight for Britain.
Cool, I have to tune into that. So it is a plug for Brutus.
Yeah. So we'll pin it in there so we can go and watch Brutus's show.
Yeah.
Brutus the Eternal Anglo. Everybody, if you don't follow him, have a listen to what he's got to say with Eddie Butler. Should be interesting. So next week
Brutus Blitz the Fritz Harris.
So we shall put a pin in it there. We'll carry on with part 2 next week.
We'll have to. It's too much to do in one episode.